In this episode, I'm going to show you how I made this portable web net. Stick around.
So, as you can see today, I've got some clamps that I purchased, and these clamps are about 1,200 pounds. So, my goal today is to make a web net out of paracord. So, stick around and we'll see how it comes out. So, as you can see here, I've got the tension nice and high to the point that we've got a pretty even square overall. Should be about 8 feet by 8 feet. Tension is high. Alrighty. Now that this thing is nice and taut, we're going to use paracord for the interior aspects of it. We're gonna run it about a foot by foot down. And we're gonna keep going back and forth by about a foot until this is layered out, and then we will try and do the opposite way coming back, creating about 12-inch by 12-inch squares to start. We're gonna start this with a constrictor knot. And so what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna take this over, outside, we're gonna cross over that. Now it's gonna come back around like it's an X. Then we're going to go ahead and lift that up and come underneath and through the X. So if you can see that there's a little bit of an X. We're pulling through. This is a constrictor knot. The tighter this gets, the tighter it will stay. So as you can see, that's not moving much at all with me pulling it. Alrighty, so we've got this 9mm that I want to use as an in-between to have something that is even tighter. So we're going to try and attach this and run a pattern around with this. Our next objective is going to start doing the intertwining weave, and we're only going to be going to our middle section. So we will go around the entirety of this, and we're going to leave this square in the center unpulled. That's going to be the last part where we really try and pull as much tension and everything as we can into that center spot to tie that up, to make it as strong as possible, to pull all of this in and get as much tension as we possibly can get in this. I've already started a bit over here with some extra. I'll show you guys how we're gonna start doing this, but the goal is to pull everything as much as possible over here, getting tension on every part of it. This could probably even use some more too, but we're gonna go back up this way and we're gonna work our way probably maybe one of these directions.
Alrighty, I have a couple pieces of information here that I'm just gonna say real quick. For the outer rope, I'm using 3/8 inch climbing rope. It is 3,520 pounds of strength. So I just want to make that something that I note. And so for the inner 9mm rope that I'm using, it has a strength of 1,543 pounds. Just making that noted here. So at this point in the video, I am going to be more or less just going at a standard pace, showing how I am weaving this web net with the interior. I think this is informative for anyone that just wants to see the process and watch me just weave for a while. Some quick notes that I learned along this was having about 10 feet of paracord is extremely great for moving faster. These 30 to 40 feet paracords that I was using in some of these points really slowed me down a lot, just because I was pulling a lot more rope through instead of moving faster. They can get hung up on sticks, any debris on the ground. So, doing this anywhere over some grass, over some, beach dirt, anything that's not going to snag stuff as much will also be helpful. Another thing that really helped me along my journey here in creating this, when I was working with the paracord, is every time I pulled it through, if I angled myself in a different direction, when I was pulling through, I had less chances of the paracord wrapping over itself and actually tangling itself up and knotting itself. So that really allowed me to get a lot of speed going as well with this. Overall, this took me about 3 days. It was surprising how much it took out of me. It took a lot of strength to actually make this, because you're constantly pulling and holding that tension as you're trying to make this thing feel like it's a trampoline. And I did this probably for a total of 16 hours maybe. And obviously you're only seeing this for 20 minutes, but my fingers got pretty blistered up. Even while I was using the gloves, I ended up wrapping my finger with some medical tape and everything to kind of help that tension and that constant pull that was happening on my index finger. So yeah, I'm just giving you a couple tips, a couple heads up on what I experienced when I was making this thing.
So, I've really only gotten this corner done so far. You can see how much the tension already is holding me up. So, things are going good so far. Alrighty, so after another day here of weaving, gotten this pretty decent spot. Sat on it a second ago. Probably about 1.5 feet of drop on it currently, so we're making good progress. It's tightening up. It's not sinking as much. So yeah, maybe another day or two and we can get it done. Alrighty, day 3 of building the portable web net. We're just gonna sit here and let it record, and I'm just gonna go continue the process and weave. It's pretty cold today, so you're probably seeing me change outfits throughout this entire thing, and so I'm trying to give you the updates on how many days this is taking. Yeah, just stick around. Okay, so we're pretty much done with the outer weave of the web net. All that's left really is hitting the interior. It's already holding me up. In fact, I'm sitting on it right now. Once the interior's done, I'm already laying on it, so I should 100% be good to be able to put my tent on here, hoist this up, get up off the ground, and be able to use this as a platform for camping and future things. So yeah, overall, this is what it's looking like so far. I'm sure this is going to be kind of angled weird and hard to see here, but so again, the biggest thing with this is trying to more or less get the outer edges done first. So pretty much my interiors, every single thing that I ran into that was one of my thick ropes, I tied a knot to it automatically, mainly because this is portable. I want to be able to actually have this thing, you know, be able to be taken down and then the tension be able to be rehoisted up. In my mind, I would imagine that wherever you put knots is going to be more or less a tension point. So every time it comes down and comes back up, it should be pulling on those similar tension points enough that I can use it every time. So I've been doing that. And then in the interior, I've been focusing on the interior square that was originally there, constantly pulling off of that so that that's my inner circle area. So the outer edges is done. Now everything that I pull in and do in the central area hopefully should give us some really, really nice and intense tension here that results in this whole thing not being like one droopy, saggy thing, but actually is a nice, tense trampoline type vibe at the end of it. So it feels like it's going that way. Maybe there's something that I don't know, and in the end here I'll screw something up, but so far it really seems like you just got to find the focal tension points, keep pulling, keep tying, and it just takes time. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep working on this, and we'll do another update when I get to that point. Cool. Alrighty, so that's pretty much it for me. I have created the more or less web net that I can take down and put up anytime I want. Again, my ultimate goal was to have this sturdy enough that I could throw my tent up on here, throw a sleeping bag on, and just be able to cruise back and fall asleep. So it's definitely not sagging in to a point that I more or less would ever be comfortable up here. In fact, it feels quite like a hammock. So yeah, it's pretty relaxing, honestly. Maybe I'll just sleep here now. Good night. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna stay here. I'm going to bed. It's been a long day. I'm tired. This is hard work. This is hard stuff to do. Literally though, I used gloves throughout most of this. My finger, I wrapped it with some tape today because I knew I'd be out here doing this all day, but I was wearing gloves the whole time too. This stuff kicks your butt. As relaxing as a hammock.
Some conclusions on this are that I love how using the green paracord and the black straps on this almost make this thing kind of invisible. I'm very intrigued to see that when I get it a bit further up off the ground, you know, if I just walk underneath it, will I even notice when the leaves start to you know, come in and everything? Am I even going to notice this thing up in the air? I think it's pretty cool that it feels kind of invisible in its own way. I'm glad you can see it relatively well here over the ground and everything. So I just wanted to say that at this point, and maybe in the future, I will go in and continue to do some more weaving and tighten up some of the larger holes in the central area. But overall, this hit exactly what I was hoping to get out of it, which was something that was almost as taut as a trampoline that I could throw my tent on, that I could attach my tent, you know, around it to hold to it so that the wind wouldn't take it away with some bungee cords and things like that. But that I could throw a pad in, I could throw a sleeping bag in, and I could more or less sleep on this thing and be up off the ground. I gotta say, I'm really excited about how this whole thing came out. I love that it's portable. I love that I can pitch it up and throw it up in different locations, that it's as taut as a trampoline. I'm really excited to get it out there and test it and do a trial, you know, camping session and spend a night sleeping on this.
Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and if you enjoy videos like this, please consider a subscribe.
And as per usual, stay wild.